Want to thank everyone here. Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Put your city and state in the chat so we can recognize you. Put your city and state in the chat so we can recognize you. So happy to have everybody here today. Yeah, so also my Instagram, so YouTube, Facebook, if you see me looking this way, I'm looking at Instagram. Also Instagram, put your city and state in the chat so that we can recognize you. I see Dana here. I see Gifted 3000. Tonight's conversation is going to be good. Now, Instagram, I do have a little presentation, and I will admit that it is on Facebook and YouTube. I am going to narrate the presentation now. But if you want to see the full presentation, you do need to come to YouTube or Facebook, Black 10K Project on either platform, okay? Black 10K Project on either platform. Hello, Keel, good to see you. Okay, so let's talk about Snoop. And I'm not seeing anyone say anything on YouTube or Facebook, so let me just make sure you guys can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me on YouTube and Facebook. I did see that I was coming through, but I don't see anyone saying anything, and you know your girl is a little worried here. So let me just check in on everybody. Put a 1 in the chat if you could hear me. Oh, Miss Smith, thank you so much. Miss Smith put a 1 in the chat for me. Perfect. So, okay, LaShonda put a 1 in the chat too. Y'all can hear me. Maybe there's a super delay with regards to this platform here. So, yes, okay, so current events is all about Snoop and Nas, who got into Robinhood Investment. Yes, Robinhood. Thank you, Tawana. Thank you, Michael. Good to see all of you here on YouTube and on Facebook. Robinhood did its IPO, its initial public offering last week. And it turned out that Snoop and Nas were early investors in Robinhood. So tonight we are going to talk about what that means. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how we as everyday regular people can also apply what we're learning here. Because just like Snoop got involved with Robinhood, we can get involved with early investments as well. Of course, self-serving through the 10K Project, but really the 10K Project is a whole community thing. So what I'm going to do now is get right into it. I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to get started with the presentation here. So I see on Instagram, we got SV143, we got My Lovely, My Life 3, and Guidance by G. Hello, everybody, welcome. Let's talk about Snoop. So Snoop ended up winning big with his Robinhood investment. And some of you may be asking, well, what's Robinhood? It is an app that people use in order to buy stocks. It just did an IPO, which stands for Initial Public Offering. And I'm going to tell you that Snoop Dogg made about 200,000% on his money. Yes, 200,000% on his money. So put that in the chat, 200,000% on his money. So first of all, I have to say that this is not investment advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is for informational purposes only, legal jargon here. But we are going to go through how Snoop was able to do this. So in 2004, there was a platform that wanted to come out called Robinhood. And at the time, long time ago, even though it was just really, 7 years ago, at the time, what was happening within stock market was you had, Lehman Brothers had gone bankrupt, but you had Goldman Sachs, you had Merrill Lynch, you had these big companies that you couldn't get into unless you had millions of dollars. Or you had the Charles Schwabs and those kinds of places, but every time you did a trade, it cost you $7, $8, $9. So everybody put a 2 in the chat if you remembered those days, if you were actively investing during that time. Well, Robinhood decided to come in and be a market disruptor. And one of the things that they did is they had some big money from institutional investors, Wall Street, but they also brought in Snoop, they brought in Nas, and they brought in Jared Leto. And one of the reasons, there was a CNN Business article, and the CEO, and I have a problem with this because our celebrities are used so much for this, but I guess I can't be mad because at least some of the celebrities made money on this one. But one of the reasons that the CEO, or the primary reason that the CEO asked these specific people, Snoop and Nas and Jared Leto, to come and be an investor was to leverage them, because he says specifically about Snoop, the CEO of Robinhood says specifically about Snoop, that Snoop had the young audience. And that's who they were trying to target at the time. So, take that for what it is, but it was kind of a quid pro quo as well. But anyway, in 2014, Robinhood hadn't even started its business yet they had 450,000 people that were signed up to be on the app when it was going to launch. So lesson number one with all of this is they were winning already when they came to these investors and asked them for money and to leverage their celebrity. They were winning already. Number two is, I already talked about the competitors charging per trade, yet Robinhood charged nothing. So they were going to be industry disruptors. At the time that they wanted to raise this money, and they raised $3 million during the time that Snoop was a part of this capital raise. He got in Series A, which is super early. They said they only wanted to do two things. Number one was focus on customer experience. So they wanted to hire a lot of engineers and designers and really focus on the user experience within their app, because they knew that that was going to be vital. And number two, they wanted to focus on legal compliance. So if anyone knows anything about the SEC and FINRA, FINRA is a financial industry regulation authority. There's a lot of paperwork and a lot of regulation to be a stock platform. So one of the other things that I liked about their initial pitch within Series A, and you can actually find it online, the pitch that Snoop heard, was that they kept it super simple. They were like, we're going to take this money and we're going to focus on these two specific things and being the best in this category. Next thing is they were preparing for their beta launch during this time. And the goal of the app, the ultimate goal, was for them to have mass market appeal. Because at the time, only 14% of Americans owned or traded individual stocks, yet they wanted to have mass appeal because they saw a trend with more and more young people wanting to have control over their destiny and over their stock their stock portfolio. So I call it the democratization of asset ownership. And we're even seeing that now with Bitcoin and Ethereum, cryptocurrency. It's something called decentralized finance that is sweeping the financial, finance overall. So over the last 7 years, from 2013 to 2021, they have raised $5.6 billion over 25 funding rounds. This is according to a Crunchbase, which keeps up with the data. They've raised $5.6 billion. My point with this is, as we start thinking about, as a people, building these billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar unicorns, most of the time it's going to take more than one round of funding. And I'm sure that we can all understand that and agree with that. Also, they just did an IPO last week. They filed their paperwork July 1st, July 2nd of 2021. Now they have 18 million accounts funded within the app, 17.7 million active monthly users, $81 billion in assets under custody, and more than 80% of their target market comes from organic or referred customers. This is huge. So they are a super success story. There's something called a unicorn. A unicorn is a company that is super big, like an Uber, Amazon, et cetera. They really break out. They have a valuation of over $1 billion, and a lot of times they dominate the market. So how did Snoop do with this? Snoop got in at 19.54 cents. So basically 20 cents. He got in at 19.54 cents. And the IPO price at the end of the day on July 29th, when the IPO occurred, the price was $34.82. He got in at 19.54 cents, so 20 cents. And at IPO day, $34.82. So that means if Snoop had bought 100,000 shares, he would have bought for $19,540, assuming there's no dilution. And I won't go into all of those terms because, I would have to give you a real example. But assuming that he just kept his percentage ownership in the company, basically is what dilution means. His shares today are worth $3.482 million. Imagine putting in $19,540 and getting out $3.48 million. That is what happened with Snoop and with this investment, potentially, because we don't know his numbers. They have not disclosed Snoop's specific numbers, so we have to put some assumptions in here. But we do know that Snoop got in at 19.54 cents. That's according to the SEC documentation, okay? So then the question becomes, okay, can regular Black people like you and I invest like Snoop does? And the answer is yes, we can. We can grow companies like Robinhood through the Black community. How do we do that? We do that through the 10K project. So shameless plug here. I am a business plan writer. I've been one for 11, 12 years. There were a lot and are a lot of great entrepreneurs that come to me from all different walks of life, all different ethnicities, all different business ideas. And people from other ethnicities will be able to go to an aunt, an uncle, whomever. I actually watched one of my clients of another ethnicity raise $600,000 in one night. People from our community usually can't do that because we don't have the rich uncle. However, we have each other. And I started saying 3 years ago, if 10,000 of us came together and we put in just $100 each, we could raise $1 million or more for our businesses. We don't have to ask other people to fund our businesses. We could start funding our own companies, profiting from our own innovation, creating jobs for our kids, creating internships within the community, and building Black wealth together. We don't even have to beg Snoop and Jay-Z and all of these guys to do it. Let's do this from the ground up. So if you want to learn more about it, we're talking about circulating the Black dollar longer, because as everyday investors, if we put in $100, $200 each, we can start funding our own businesses. And then these entrepreneurs will then oftentimes want to hire us to do CPA services, attorney, digital marketing, etc. And these three groups of people can work together in order to, again, circulate the Black dollar longer. So that's the ecosystem that we're building at the 10K project. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, we do something called a Bet on Black pitch, and we have an entrepreneur of the week. This week, we have a Super Bowl champion, so it's tonight, Super Bowl champion coming to talk about his project. It's really a presentation. The entrepreneur gets to talk about his or her business for about 10 to 20 minutes. And then we as a community get to ask that entrepreneur questions. And then at that point, you get to decide as an individual if you want to help fund that business, if you want to help invest in that business in exchange for shares or partial ownership in that business. Just like Snoop did all those years ago when he was brought the Robinhood opportunity. So again, I have to say, Snoop's returns may not be your returns. However, we are learning lessons from Angel University. We're learning how to build a portfolio of companies. And it's been statistically proven that over a 25-year period with a portfolio of companies that investing in privately held businesses in this model has about a 45% return on an annual basis. So if that interests you, the 10K project is the way that you can do this. So you can have deal flow. You can get in oftentimes with as little as $100 as an investor. You also get the time and the knowledge that you need to analyze deals. And you're going to have to be patient and have time to wait for returns. So returns on average, if you, again, heard the whole Robinhood example, 2014 to 2021, that is 7 years. So you have to be prepared to wait that long. So with that, I'm going to stop screen sharing. And if anyone has questions, I see here a bunch of people in Facebook, in YouTube. We have a whole bunch of people on Instagram as well. I want to say hello to everybody. That's the lesson of the day. That is what Snoop did, and we're able to do that too. We're able to come together in order to do that, and the 10K project is the way that can happen. So if you're a member of the 10K project and you want to say something really quickly, let everybody know how you enjoy the 10K project, the Bet on Black pitches, the wealth building that we talk about on a weekly basis. I would love for you to, put that shout out in the comments as well. But that's the session for today. And Thursday, we're talking about 50 Cent and vitamin water. So we're seeing these examples, and now it's time for us from the ground floor to be able to do these examples, and we can do it. Zora, like me, says, thank you so much for the content. I'm proud to be a 10K project member. Yay, Zora, thank you. Thank you. We had a couple of people join today too. So if you are a new member of the 10K project, just joined today, I'm going to make sure to get you that link for tonight's Bet on Black pitch. So, hello, Nubian vibes. Sorry. Hello, Caprola. Hey, Alan, how you doing? Alan, we're about to head out actually, because I don't see any questions here. So yeah, that was a presentation. That was a presentation for today. All righty then, everybody. Well, look, this is the end of the stream. I don't have to be here for 80 million years. Just wanted to let everybody know how Snoop did it. And this replay is going to stay up. So if you want to watch the replay, you are welcome to do that as well. Okay, everybody. I'll see you at 8 o'clock at the Bet on Black pitch if you are able to attend.